Ladies and gentlemen, please be aware that foul language is prevalent within the following production. Have a nice day.
Welcome back to another episode of the Offenders Podcast. As always, I'm Kyle, joined by one of my co-hosts, Evan.
Joined by our other co-host, Shane.
Yes, I'm not joined with anything.
Weird, you have joints in your hands and your legs.
I don't do the drugs.
Oh, not those kinds of joints. Yeah, but those are stupid and they smell bad.
I washed my hands.
I gotta hand it to you. That was a good joke.
When you first started talking about joints in your hands and you're like, I don't do drugs, I was like, does Shane have arthritis? I was like really trying to put two and two together there when it was really more like 2 and 7.
He's talking about the devil's lettuce, Kyle.
Oh, okay. Well, I think today we're going to talk about something we teased after MomoCon, which was we're going to talk about those old school anime that Manga Video released like in the 80s and 90s over here, which is probably what I think all of us kind of got started on anime-wise. Especially probably people in our age group. Because like everybody I talked to, they all are like, oh yeah, I remember watching all those things and watching those videos.
Before we hop into the reviews, let's just kind of talk about that for a minute. Like for me, the first thing that I ever saw in my entire life as far as anime that I knew what it was, because I saw bits and pieces of Unico when I was a kid, but I had no fucking idea what it was. The first thing that I saw that I knew what it was Fist of the North Star. I got it from a place called Comics Castle here in Macon, which is no longer there, which was just another story altogether. It's just like this crazy, dark, dank dungeon where all the employees just played Risk and ate pizza all the time. But
sounds about like every comic shop.
That's a good point. So maybe every place is Comics Castle. But the point is, I went there, and I had found the manga version first, and then the guy saw that I liked the manga. He's like, well, I can get you the video of it. So, of course, I was like, yay! So he got me the video of it, but what he didn't fucking tell me was he got me the original Japanese video of it. So I got home, and I have no fucking idea what anybody's saying, but I love it because heads are exploding. And there's just like all these punches, and people are stabbing their fingers in each other.
It wasn't even dubbed? I mean, it wasn't even subtitled, I'm sorry.
No, nothing. Just straight Japanese.
Hilarious.
That's all I could make out. But even back then, I didn't know what it was. And it just changed my life forever. As soon as I saw that, I was like, now I know where all my dad's money's going to go. And my mom's money. And my grandma's money. And my uncles and my aunts. Any money I get. What?
How old were you?
I'd say I was like 3rd or 4th grade. About 3rd or 4th grade.
That's how old you were, 3rd or 4th grade?
Yeah.
So
I don't even... Listen. I was in... I base everything on 6th grade, because I remember I was 11 when I was in 6th grade. So I'd be 10 to 11, 9 to 10. 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
8 or 9 years old.
That's a lot younger than I was when I first saw any kind of anime. I think I was in high school. I think I was like a sophomore, so I was 14 or 15, and it was Akira. It came on. So first off, back in the day, Sci-Fi Channel actually aired anime in the morning on
Anime Saturdays, yeah.
And it wasn't like simple stuff. It was like some hardcore shit they were airing. It's like Geno Cyber and fucking Demon City Shinjuku and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Vampire Hunter D.
Vampire Hunter D. But the first thing I ever saw, which I realized they were when they had this thing going on Saturday mornings, was Akira. They aired it like on a Friday night, and they kept advertising the Saturday morning. And Akira, I was just like, holy shit, this is ridiculous. I got to watch this stuff on Saturday. And I think the next thing I saw was Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah.
It's Vampire Hunter D or Geno Cyber. I don't remember which one.
The second one I saw was Vampire Hunter D. The first one I saw was Project Gecko.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember watching that on there, too.
I specifically remember talking to Shane and our buddy Frank about it while we were at school. It's like, dude, did you see that stuff on Sci-Fi Channel?
Yes.
We were like flipping out because it was just like everything that they played was awesome.
Yeah.
Only Evan's going to get it.
Ta-da! Fucking Seiko, man.
Aiko, Biko, Seiko.
Seiko. Yeah, Aiko and Biko were A-OK.
Yeah,
But that's besides the point.
I remember watching all that stuff on there, and a lot of that stuff I think was what the manga video eventually was, releasing. Because I remember that's where I think when I got my copy of, what do you call it, Cyber, and do you remember Black Lion?
Yes. Yeah.
That made no goddamn sense, but it was fucking ridiculous and good.
They also did like Angel Cop, which was ridiculously violent.
Oh yeah.
And then they
Wicked
did
City.
Dominion Tank Police.
One of the greatest.
Erect Dukaki.
The ultimate deterrent.
Cat Sisters.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Oh man, they also did Ninja Scroll, which was another one. That's one that a lot of our generation seemed to grasp onto. Like everybody's like, Ninja Scroll is my favorite anime. And it was good, it was no denying. But that seemed to be the one that everybody shot to,
Well, I think it's one of those things. Like it was the first one that a lot of people saw.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell, another big one.
Yep, that was another one.
Man, that one fucked me up. I had to watch it like 2 or 3 times before I even understood what happened. I was just like, hey, there's a naked cyborg lady killing people. That's cool.
Yeah, I think the first one I ever. I think after I watched like those two, Akira and Vampire Hunter D, I remember seeing Ninja Scroll and Ghost in the Shell the same night because I went over to somebody's house and they were like, "We're gonna watch these." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we watched both of them back to back. I was like, "Holy fucking shit! Japan is amazing."
Yes, it is.
Why can't we have cartoons like this?
And it was right about that time that I decided I was going to learn Japanese, and I bought these fucking. I went to like Barnes and Noble and bought these cassettes.
Kohi.
Yeah. Kyo no gobo. Tomorrow. And we would take turns with my Walkman fucking listening to it. And we'd be like, okay, I got that. And at that time, I think it was Channel 8 on Cox Cable, at like 11 at night on a Monday, they would play Japanese news for no reason at all that we knew of. And we would just fucking sit there and watch it because it was from Japan. We'd be like, maybe they'll have like an anime, like a cartoon, a fucking anime commercial. And we would sit there and watch and have no idea what the fuck they were saying.
Yeah, I remember going also once Cartoon Network started doing the Toonami block, and now it wasn't like it was nothing like the anime that Sci-Fi was airing. Mm-hmm. But I know that's where I first saw stuff like Dragon Ball Z and a bunch of other ones like that. They eventually did like Gundam Wing and like Tenchi Muyo and stuff like that on there, and Outlaw Star. So I think a lot of people too in our age group, that's the next thing they relate to with anime is Toonami.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the second step, big step.
Yeah,
there were a couple like big films in between those, like Perfect Blue and all the stuff that guy made.
Oh my god, good. Perfect Blue and the Kite.
Yeah, man, Kite was fucked up.
So story about Kite. So for those who've never seen Kite, the guy who made Kite's just fucked up. The dude is fucked up. I mean, literally. Like, his other stuff is just as fucked up. But it's all about, like, rape and this weird stuff like that. But I didn't know that.
You were innocent.
No, hold on. You can buy an edited version of it that had not all that crazy stuff edited out. Like, the story was still there, but all the unneeded rape scenes were not. So that's what I bought, because I didn't know. And then years later, I was like, I'm going to rebuy it on DVD, and I got the full version. I was like, this was not the one I saw. I don't know what the fuck happened. And I looked up, I was like, oh, okay. So the original time they released it over here, they cut all that crap out. Which is another problem that a lot of anime has when it gets brought over here, is it gets edited down.
Yeah, I remember specifically trying to explain to my dad, after he bought me the regular Legend of the Overfiend, how I would need the special edition box set, which was completely uncut. And he was like, okay, but only as long as I can watch it after you're done. I was like, okay, Dad. So I got it.
Well, speaking of Legend of the Overfiend, that is what you guys got me to watch. Because I've never watched it, and I've always been like, oh, I'm not going to watch that. It's just nothing but a rape. And I was wrong. I mean, there was a lot of rape in it, but it wasn't nothing but rape.
Yeah, there's blood and death and violence. Be fair. It's just rape. And there was magic and devils. It's not like it's bad or something.
But for people who've never seen A Legend of the Overfiend, it's basically about, I'm trying to remember. So there's like 3 realms. There's the normal realm where humans live. Then there's like the demon realm.
Yep.
Can you remember the names of them, Shane?
The Makai, the Jujinkai. Oh, what was the regular? The Ningenkai.
Ningenkai.
Yeah, and the other one's like the beast realm, I think.
Yeah,
that's the Jujinkai.
Okay, so
that's where my street name comes from.
Yeah, Jujin.
So there's like this legend that this Overfiend's going to come and he's going to unite the realms
every 3,000 years.
Every 3,000 years, and so there is a brother and sister from the beast realm, Amino and Magooby, who have come to Earth to basically try to find the Overfiend before he wakes up. Because some other demons and stuff are trying to kill him before he awakens.
Yeah, because they don't want that shit to happen.
Yeah, they don't want it to happen. But, they find him hidden in this kid. And, there's rape. That's right.
Just slide it on in there.
Well, that's what he did.
Yeah.
So the thing is that I expected there to be a lot more of it than there was. Of, like, the gratuitous rape sex stuff. It's there.
There's also a lot of consensual sex.
There is a lot of consensual sex. But there's not nearly as much as I'd expected in there. And there's actually a story that, like I was telling them, I've watched the first 2 now, and there's like a third part. I'm like, well, I want to watch the third just to see how it ends.
Yeah, because, you go, the reason that I got into it was because the guy who had sold me on it in the first place, who worked at the comic shop, was like, hey, Evan, you like blood and guts, you should watch this. And I said, okay. And then there was bonus titties.
Bonus titties.
So all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, this is great. Get me all of them.
I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who actually had the Overfiend in him now.
Nagumo.
Who?
Nagumo.
Yep.
That's it. Mm-hmm. So the funny thing, one of the things in that kind of got me is that, so there's like this girl that this guy is basically a giant loser, right? He's kind of like the guy who was hiding in the girls' locker room jerking off to the girls as they were changing. So like Evan.
My man!
Like the Evan of the show. But, so like the girl he has the hots for, she's the first person that gets raped.
She's like the star cheerleader gymnast.
Yeah.
Top of the pops.
So she gets raped by some doctor at the school who turns out... Oh, is it the principal? Okay. Yeah. So the principal at the school turns out to be like this demon who proceeds to basically, if she has a hole, rape it. With all the tentacles.
Whoa. Wait a minute. We're forgetting something very important here. Shane, you want to introduce one of the biggest assholes ever to have been created in history?
You mean Amino?
Amino,
the villain of the fucking show.
Yes, the main villain of the show. Let me explain why. He sees all this shit happen and he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He just watches.
He just sat there watching with his arms folded, his fucking Chuck Taylors crossed over one another. He's like, hey, this girl's getting raped by a principal demon. I guess I better just eat some popcorn and enjoy it.
And he convinces the other guy to sit there and watch too. Like, no, just watch, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Check this shit out. Ain't that fucked up?
Yep. That's a good, like... That must be why our society has come to what it is, because Amino Jaku has reigned his influence over everybody. It's like, oh my god, those policemen are beating up that old man. Hey man, you got a video phone on you? Well, yeah, why don't you turn your camcorder? Man, this is going on YouTube.
World Star!
Yeah, World Star Hip Hop!
But now, as I say, after this happens, right, after this girl is raped in every orifice and she gets saved, eventually...
Completely by accident, I'd like to say.
Yeah, it's not like they're like, all right, now it's time to save her. It's just like, oh, fuck. But so after this, later on that night, she's willing to get down with some dude. I was like, seriously? You just got raped in every hole. Honey, I think you need to just chill out.
Well, it's like roller coasters, man. The first one scares the shit out of you. After that, it's free game.
Oh, God. That's terrible.
But I mean, you're terrified at first, but then you're like, yeah. Okay, fuck it. I did it once. I might as well do it again. It's like running 3 miles. I've done it once. Might as well do it again.
That's what it's like, is it?
That's exactly what it's like.
It's exactly like that.
I'm not exercising ever again if it's like that.
Not specifically like that, but metaphorically.
Oh,
There's a lot of pain, but there's also some pleasure. And then you've run.
and then you've run.
Or got raped by a
Away.
fucking
by a demon. Only by
principal.
demons, though. It's different.
Yeah,
as
only
other
by
things.
demons.
Well, one thing I learned too in this is that demons have phosphorescent pink jizz.
Sometimes phosphorescent green or orange.
Oh, okay. Well, most of the time, like the Overfiend, it was pink because that's when it happened when he stuck it inside that chick and his dick got so hard it exploded her.
That sounds like something a bro would say. Yo, man, she makes my dick so hard it would explode her. You got to say that when you're wearing your bastard hat for Halloween. Girl, my dick is so hard I would explode you.
And you know what? They'd be like, "That's great because you're in costume." Like, yeah,
That's exactly what I said. That's what I read. Yeah.
But so yeah, I'll admit that I kind of expected it to be a lot worse. And I was almost like, "Oh God, when am I going to watch this shit?" Just like holding off. And I finally did. Then I was like, "Well, shit." After I watched the first one, I was like, "Well, fuck, I'll stay up and watch the second one too." And then I was like, "Man, I really want to stay and watch the third one, but I need to get up there too early to do that." So,
But I mean, seriously, on the rape aside, of course, because that shit's terrible. It's got a great story. There's awesome monsters in it. The demons, the monsters, the man beasts, they all have really cool character designs. It's got a really cool folklore that they invent for the whole thing. They take in parts of Shinto, which is where Amenojaku comes from. It's like an actual folk deity. And they just put all this shit together to make this big, gigantic, multi-universe, multi-world story. And, like, it went on... Let's see, you had the first one, the second one, third one, fourth one. And then they made a remake, like a reimagining of it, which was the fifth one, which retells the first story. But goddamn, it's a really epic tale, you know?
and truthfully, like I said, there wasn't as much sex as I thought there was. And when it came down to like the ridiculous rape stuff, I can only think it happened twice, and that was
The nurse.
And the principal raping the girl in the first one. And then in the second one, like, the sex scene, it's consensual, all of them. Like, there's one scene near the end, but the guy ends up not raping her.
Who was that?
That's the person from the school who basically gets...
Nikki.
Nikki.
He gets
Nikki.
murdered.
Yeah,
Nikki,
well,
yeah.
he's getting ready to rape her, but then he kind of has, like, that moment of, like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is this girl who I liked, and she's like the only girl that was ever nice to me, and I'm about to do this. And then the Overfiend shows up, and that's all she wrote.
we skipped over a very integral part of that story. He cut off his own dick
Oh, yeah.
and replaced it with a demon parasite dick that looked like a rotten, just herpes-infested penis.
I don't care. And they were like, you cut off your dick and put that one on, and it'll make you a man that people want. And I was like, no, thank you.
Plus, the guy was wearing like an overcoat and a fucking Columbo hat. So it's like,
Yeah.
he's not the most fucking trustworthy guy. It's like, why are you dressed like Q from Street Fighter 3 all of a sudden?
Hey, man.
That's what it is. That's what got him in trouble.
It's a giant dick talking is what it is.
And not only does he wearing the Columbo hat and coat, but like you never see his face. It's like black, and his eyes like falling out of his face. He's putting it back in, and this dude's coming to you like, cut your dick off and put this on. I'll make you better.
And he's got his little buddy, like the small dog from the Looney Tunes cartoon. He's like, cut stick off, He's got like the little baseball hat and a striped shirt.
Yep.
Come to think of it, wasn't he dressed like, what's his name from Earthbound, Nell or whatever his name was?
Yes.
He had the same outfit on.
Yeah, so he just didn't have the baseball bat.
Yeah. We had a baseball bat, but it wasn't the same kind you thought.
People in that school are much too easily convinced to do things.
What
Hey,
happened?
isn't that the girl you like? Yeah, she's getting raped. Yeah, well, just watch. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what she should do? She cut your dick off. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So easily influenced.
Now I'm wondering, like, is there something like that happens in the third one too? Like, hey, watch this. But that's the girl I love. Yeah, but I'm gonna kill her. Oh, okay. I'll
Just
watch
keep
it.
watching.
No, it's much more difficult. In the third one, you'll see. He's much more difficult. He has more resistance.
Okay. I I have a feeling there's a joke I'm not getting, but as soon as it happens, I'm like, God damn it, Shane.
Those motherfuckers.
That was just me making fun of Evan. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Okay.
Old jokes. Since we're bringing up old jokes, now it's going to be out in the open. I used to be like genuinely in love with one of the characters when I was growing up. I was genuinely in love with Megumi because she had green hair and she showed her tits all the time.
And she wanted to fuck everything.
Yeah. And to a small, fat kid who has never been kissed or anything, that is like number one Cloud9 goddess of everything. It's like, oh, you want to have sex all the time and show your tits? I love you. That's how most people have children, I think. That's how marriages happen. That and shotguns.
Like, Amino, who's her brother, he wants to find the Overfiend because he thinks he's going to unite everything. It's going to be this great thing. From what I'm getting, she wants to find the Overfiend to fuck him.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because like she's like ready for it.
Boy, is she ever. Bless her heart, as they say here in the South. Ha ha, Shane dropped his drink. Ha 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 ha. Okay, back to the story. But seriously, I was genuinely in love with this thing. This woman, this creation of fantasy, which I had many fantasies about, but we'll talk about that another time. But the point was, this was a very integral part of my growing up, which probably is the reason why I dream of turning into a gargoyle and having sex with lots of women. But I'm not willing to cut my dick off to make that happen.
Hey, man, leave me out of this, man.
Don't worry, buddy. We're going to stay connected. We're connected like fucking Wi-Fi over the fucking airwaves. Wait, that's invisible. That's a
That's
bad
bad because
message.
Wi-Fi's always dropping, dude.
We're connected like a fucking rotary telephone to the wall.
Okay.
We're connected. We are inseparable is what I'm saying.
There are probably a lot of people that are like, what the hell's a rotary telephone?
Well, they're too young to be listening to this podcast then. Go do your fucking homework. Go outside.
But
Oh,
so,
man.
the Overfiend, although the original ones, those were all from manga too.
Yeah.
Yep.
They came out by Century. They were released by Century Park Media, which was owned by Manga Vision.
Yeah.
Manga Vision owned them and Anime 18. Anime 18 was the company that came out with it. My bad. Anime 18 was owned by Century Park Media, who was owned by Manga Vision.
We forgot that there's equal opportunity of murdering the people you're having sex with, too, because Megumi kills the demon on the rooftop.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, yeah, after she's fucking him and then she just kills him when she's done with it.
What a way to go,
Via
man.
explosion.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. Who wants to shit their pants in their bed and die of a heart attack when you can have sex and just blow the fuck up?
An explosive orgasm kills you.
Dude,
and
that's
I'm
like-
out. Boom!
Your brain's not going to be sitting there going, oh, I just shit my pants and I'm dying. You're just going to be like, ugh, and you're done. That's the last thing you think of.
Oh, man.
I wonder how many people have died that way. Is that even possible to just blow up after you're having sex?
No, it's not possible to just blow up.
Yes, it is. They can have C4 there and a fucking trigger.
Oh, my God.
Anything-
This is like the next fucking Jason Statham movie.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. What was that movie? Mike Patton did that. Crash. Crank.
Crank.
I knew it was close to there somewhere. He had to have sex with Amy Smart in order to keep his heart rate up, and everybody was like cheering him on for having sex with her. That shit was great, man.
He's just fucking right in the middle of a parking lot in front of everybody.
Yeah, and everybody's like, hell yeah! And if I would have been there, if I didn't have any perishables like milk or, pizza, I'd be like, yeah, man, get that shit. Otherwise, I'd just go, yeah, and I'd keep walking. I don't want my milk to go bad. Get it, son, and just keep walking.
Well, actually, pull out your camera and record it as you're leaving, right?
Not
Is
if
it
I'm.
on YouTube.
Well, it depends on how much the milk is on sale for. Do I have extra? Did I work overtime this week? These are the questions I honestly ask myself.
Now I'm thinking of other situations where this could happen. Like, you're leaving the store, you've got your milk and your frozen pizza, because I'm sure that's all you buy. That's actually what I imagined. Your grocery.
That's more than I buy, actually. I buy bread and milk. That's it, and coffee.
Okay. All right. So you've got your bread, your milk, your coffee, and you're walking, and suddenly there's like this horrendous crime happening near you that you're the only person who can stop it. But you're like, this milk was like $4.
Dude, if I could stop a crime, I would definitely drop that. See, the thing is, stopping a crime...
You would drop that milk to stop a crime and possibly get injured, but you wouldn't just slow down enough to, like, watch some, hot chick get banged?
No, and I'll tell you why. A letter, a hyphen, and a word. X-hamster. Xhamster.com. I can watch that shit when I get home and my milk is chilling in the fridge. Side note. While we were at a backyard wrestling event today, Maestro Awesome McKickass was there, and he was doing commentary with a guy named Gino, and he made a joke about X-Hamster, and we saw exactly how many people there looked at pornography.
Because they're like, or xvideo.com.
Yeah.
Or
Pornhub.
Pornhub's what I prefer. It just started spreading.
Oh, my God.
It just started spreading.
And I was just so happy to have witnessed that moment where everybody's like, you know what? I do look at porn.
That was like the most recent version of a... woman choked on a horse's cock, and everybody recognizes it.
Hey, that's a woman choking on a horse's dick.
Oh, man.
11 out of 12 people.
Yeah.
11 out of 12 people at Dunkin' Donuts making Georgia recognize the sound of a woman choking on a horse's dick.
God damn.
All right. So, I enjoyed the Overfiend. I'll watch more of them. I'll watch the next one just to see how the story goes along with it.
Keep watching.
You guys watch something else.
Mad Bull 34, a.k.a. the story of my man Sleepy. Mike motherfucking Haggard.
He did look like my Haggard.
Magnum P.I., you name it, a man in his mustache. Taking care of business. Protecting the streets from prostitutes. And criminals.
Or no, 4 prostitutes.
4 prostitutes.
4 prostitutes.
Yeah, 4 orphans.
A prostitution ring?
And let's just kind of analyze this bit by bit. It starts out...
Yeah,
go ahead.
First give a brief summary of what it's about so people know.
Okay. You're in this area, New York City. Okay? Imagine this fictional world called New York City. And there's a precinct known as the 34th Precinct. This is where all the bad motherfuckers in New York happen to have their condominiums. They all move to this one section, and nobody fucking goes there. But they still have to have a police department. And on that police department is the man. John Sleepy, what's his name?
I don't remember the in-between. I remember...
They all just call him Sleepy.
Yeah.
Sleepy. Who's like 6'8", 300 pounds of muscle, and a mustache. He's retardedly larger than everybody else there. Like, everybody else comes up to his elbows. It's like, it doesn't make any sense how much bigger this guy is than everybody else.
Yeah.
So he's like the Cash, if you will, from Tango and Cash. The neighborhood favorite, rough house guy that always saves the day. He's always dealing with the fucking chief, who's like, why did you blow up half of a fucking block? It's like, 'cause it got in the way, god damn it. And that's Sleepy. And it starts off with Eddie. What was his last name? Because he said it fucking wrong.
His name is like Daijiboro Eddie Bond is his name.
Yeah. And of course, Sleepy, bless his heart, could never say the shit properly, which should be like, Daijibura. He's like, Daijibura! Daijibura! And it's just so fucking funny. That's one of my favorite parts, is just hearing him try to say his name every time.
That reminds me of something that everybody who's claimed to be a master of martial arts in the show fails at being a master of martial arts. Because they said, he's like, when they were announcing, like, I'm just going to call him Eddie Bond because it's easier for me to say.
Yeah.
It's like, he was really good at martial arts and so and a top-rate cop. I've never seen him do anything get his ass beat.
Yeah. Also, as we progress, in the first story, I believe he was saving... It wasn't the reporter. The reporter was second story, wasn't it?
I think the reporter was in the first story.
Reporter was in the first story.
Yeah.
So he has to save this reporter at first. And Eddie does absolutely jack shit the whole episode. I remember, I think, he gets a gun, and he still doesn't shoot anybody. Because Sleepy's like, fucking shoot him, goddammit! It's the Yellow Rose bastard, shoot him! And Eddie's just like, I can't do it! I'm scared.
Oh, is that when they're fighting in the subway?
Yes!
Yeah.
So, you come to find out that Sleepy, as well as being the most badass cop, also has a hand in the prostitution ring.
Which I should say...
He's kind of crooked.
Yeah. I should say that, like, this reporter is this blonde and in profile rather manly woman. And so he saves her. And later on, I'm watching it, and he's having sex with this woman. I was like, oh, it's Sleepy that's having sex with this woman in this, like, room. And I'm like, oh, he's having sex with the reporter chick, I guess, because he saved her. But no. This was actually a prostitute that he knows, who looks exactly the same as the reporter.
Yeah.
And he made the mistake that many of us had made. He called her the name of the girl that she looked exactly like. And she's like, get off me, Sleepy, you jerk! And then she got blowed the fuck up. Now, going back, you come to find out that he's got his hand in this prostitution ring. But then, after a series of fortunate events, including killing a rival mafioso guy, prostitution leader, who has a yellow rose on his arm, who tries to take over the shit, you come to find out that not only does Sleepy have these prostitutes, but he has these prostitutes going to clinics for their VD, paying for their medical care, and housing them. So he's like the orphanage of sluts.
Yeah.
He's a slut orphanage.
He's a pimp with a heart of gold.
Absolutely. Indeed. All he asks every now and then is just a little play. Sleepy just wants to take care of his morning wood once in a while, live up to his name, and he does. And I said to myself, how the fuck can I get this job? I want to fall asleep all the time, beat people's faces in, and then have sex with prostitutes you know don't have VD. How do you do it? I guess we better find
You gotta
Sleepy.
be Mad Bull.
I do. I got to work in the 34th precinct. So that was the first episode. Second episode introduces Eddie's buddy, who was like a former FBI detective or something.
That's Mad Bull's buddy.
Mad Bull's buddy.
Yes, the chick.
Yes.
Who's also a master of martial arts.
Yes. And you do see her fight a couple times. And you're like, God damn, look at that judo throw. What's up, Ronda Rousey? And then...
Also, I should say that, like, when I first saw them, I'm like, it's like, okay, so it's not the reporter. The hooker's dead. Or is it a reporter? Because she looks exactly the same as the other two women.
And it was at that moment that we realized whoever made this anime fucking loves manly blonde women.
Yes.
Well, I remember the story behind the making of this was that, like, the people who made it actually went to some precinct in America and watched it for a while, and this is what they thought of it, and came back and wrote this.
God, that's awesome.
You know?
Man, I want to go to that precinct.
There's lots of manly blonde women there.
Yeah, I was about to say some Japanese guys are into some manly blonde women, which makes me think they were probably looking at trannies and didn't realize it.
You know, thankfully, when I hear tranny, since I grew up with people who worked on cars here and there, I think of a car. It's not until somebody uses the other one that I'm like, oh, man. I mean, that's cool, but really, that's a car part. You should have just called it chick with dick. It doesn't roll off the tongue as easy, but, you know, it makes a lot more sense. Why did we bring that up? Back to what we're talking about. So... This hotshot blonde woman shows up, and I don't know if she's supposed to be working there on an assignment or whatever.
I think she got assigned there.
She got assigned there. Well, Eddie, as soon as he sees her, goes anime stupid. He's like, she sure is pretty.
He gets Evan face.
He does.
Evan face in front of a pretty girl.
And his eyes turn into hearts. It's outstanding. Like, multiple times he looks at her, and his eyes are replaced with hearts. And it's like, that's my man right there. So he falls head over heels, and Sleepy loves his partner, man. He's like, Dajabura, you're full of shit, but you're my little brother who's full of shit. So he's like, hey, I noticed you looking at what's her name, so I got you these flowers. Now quit being a pussy and go give them to her. And, like, he tries to do that, and then you find out there's this bad guy who's like a corrupt dude, the corrupt detective.
I should mention, by the way, that the first scene you see him in, he walks into the room and everybody's staring at him like they hate him. And I'm like, why do they hate this guy? And then, like, they're doing a interrogation, and Mad Bull's in there threatening to, like, you know, break all his bones and stuff like that. And this guy walks in there and he's like, how about I take you wearing these cuffs in front of your kid and let him see what a loser you are? And he confesses, and everybody looks at him like he's the most evil person ever. I was like, isn't that better than take him and beat the shit out of him? It's like, why is he so evil? I mean, I see later. But they knew it a little earlier than I did, apparently.
I don't know. I guess that really would depend on your morality and your principles. It's like, okay, let's say you get busted at the candy store. You're 7 years old. The candy store person who happens to be a person who likes to beat up children's like, look, I caught you stealing, I'm going to give you a black eye. Or I can call your mother and tell her that you're a thief. Half of you's like, shit, I can't let my mom find out. And the other half of you goes, shit, I don't want to get punched in the eye. So it really comes up to your own personal decision, you know?
I don't know, I can't relate to that. I never got caught stealing candy.
He's too good.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a few black eyes, okay? As a child, I got punched by a few weird candy owners. And that's okay, man, because I got away more than I got caught. Back to the story. So, you find out that this detective that's also there at the same time as the hot new blonde woman detective kind of has a past. So, she goes from being super badass, like
she forgot her martial arts somehow,
superwoman, to, oh my god, I'm a helpless schoolgirl. Because they go to find this like bad guy that they've been working on. Oh, wait, first, I forgot. While they're staking him out, Sleepy and Eddie go in the same car with the asshole detective and the hot blonde woman detective. And then, like, they park, and then the asshole detective's like, Eddie and Sleepy, you go the fuck up there and look out from the tower. Me and what's-her-name are going to be right here. And as soon as they walk out of the fucking car, the dude's just grabbing her titties. Yeah. And trying to nurse off of him like a newborn baby. And I'm just...
all of a sudden, her martial arts score goes to 0.
She's like, no, stop it. There's no fucking finger lock. There's no arm bar. There's no poke in the eye Ric Flair style. Nothing. She's just like, stop touching my boobies. And he's like, nope. And that's it. So Eddie and fucking Sleepy are up there getting the shit shot out of them. And they're down there making out, having their fun. Just like they're primetime candidates for Jason Voorhees to sneak up on and kill.
Until they get the signal, and then they go out there.
Yeah, and they just act like nothing's happened. Oh, let me put my boobs back up. Nothing.
It doesn't say anything about it.
Doesn't complain at all, which is terrible.
And then the guy runs off after getting the drugs and leaves them there to be shot out.
Yep.
But that's okay! Because Mad Bull thought this might happen, so he wore those grenades as a jockstrap.
Yep. That's
oh my goodness!
Moments.
No, it wasn't grenades as a jockstrap. It was grenades that were tied to his pubic hairs.
That's what he said, though. He's like, I thought this might happen. That's why I wore these grenades as a jockstrap.
He fucking tied his pubic hairs to grenades. So every time, bless Eddie and his just love for the police field. Because he's reaching into a man's junk, pulling off his pubic hairs to get a grenade. And Sleepy's just sitting there like, yeah. It's like, why didn't you just bring a backpack? First off, how manly and awesome do you have to be to think, well, I better tie a bunch of fucking grenades to my pubic hair just in case some shit goes down.
I also want to say that, like, in the first episode, like, Eddie's all like, Sleepy, you can't do that. You can't just kill people. Next episode, he's throwing grenades with him.
Yeah, exactly. It took him like 3 days on the force to be like, okay, we're just going to blow motherfuckers away. And this, I believe in the second episode, is where you meet like Sleepy's mysterious buddy / enemy. He's like this weird Cuban guy with no teeth who smells like coffee and piss.
Yes.
And I was just like, I could kind of hang with that guy because I probably smell like coffee a lot of the time too. Not so much piss. And the first... Well, you know, it depends on if I shook enough, I guess. The point is, this guy meets up with Sleepy, and he's like, hey, Sleepy, I got some stuff for you, and I'll tell you how to get it, but first, catch. And he throws out, like, 20 cans of cold coffee, and he's like, 10 of these are bombs, and 10 of these are delicious coffee, which I want you to enjoy because you're my friend. And it's like... That's a bad choice of wording. Because if he's really your friend, you tell him exactly which ones were the coffee.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting there, and Sleepy's just like, God damn it, I'm going to be late. I need to get this fucking info so I can go save their asses. And the old fucking Pissy Pants coffee cup is over sitting there laughing at him. Thankfully, He chooses wrong and blows up.
Yes.
But apparently Sleepy has the Wile E. Coyote gene, which allows him to blow the fuck up and then show up in the next panel slightly blackened.
Yeah.
So the ship blows up. He finds out where the guy is. He gets all the information from his pissy pants.
This is after Eddie's useless again. Like after the girl gets. First of all, here's the thing, because we skipped over a little bit.
We did.
So the evil detective guy that nobody likes, it's like, hey, I got some information on this guy that you're looking for. This person you thought you took out before, but you didn't. I know exactly where he is. Why don't you get in the car with me, the guy who molested you and would have raped you if we had a little bit more time, by ourselves with no backup, and just go to this mansion and go get him. And she's like, okay. So she gets caught, but then Eddie decides he's going to follow him, and he doesn't get any backup because he knows how badass he is, and he can just solve the problem by himself. So, of course, he's immediately caught as well.
Yep.
And that's why he needs to get the information to go save them, because those two have been captured, because these two masters of martial arts have once again completely forgotten that they know them.
And Eddie being, let me tell you, I had some time to think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie knew what the fuck he was doing. Eddie knew that he was a better martial artist than old Blondie, what's her name.
Mm.
So he said, I can't upstage this woman whose attention I want to gather.
Is that what it is?
I don't want to embarrass her by showing her how much better I am than her, so I'm just going to let them beat the shit out of me to show them how tough I am. And she was thinking, I know that he's better than me, and he knows that I know that he knows. So I'm just going to cry here and show him that women are truly stronger by being the weaker one and letting him take the beating.
Is that how it goes?
That's exactly what happened. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, because, like, he distracts him by getting the crap beat out of him is really the thing. You know, even if that was my plan and I thought it was going to happen, because these guys look like they're from Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
I mean, they look pretty badass, so I would at least fought a little bit.
Yep.
You know, I would have fought a little bit. I would have tried to do something instead of just getting my ass kicked. But here's the thing. They had her pinned to the floor before this, and so they all get up and they're fighting this guy. And they all have machine guns, and he's like, he gets them to put down the machine guns. But they put him down right next to her who's laying on the ground.
Yeah.
Never does she shoot them until after he's had his ass beat for like 10 minutes.
I know. That's one of the that was one of those scenes I was like, you dumb bitch. Grab a fucking machine gun and just use it.
So, here's where we get to one of my favorite parts.
Oh, we skipped something else too.
Oh, what did we skip?
We skipped the crazy assassins.
Oh, shit! I completely forgot. What were they called?
The Lu something and other.
Lu Gong Bin or something like that. Are a bunch of Chinese assassins who would rather die than fail their mission. Yes. And it's funny because these Chinese assassins happen to look exactly like early 90s delinquent Japanese mafioso.
Yes.
Yakuza. The big-ass pompadours, the fucking Bosuzoku jackets. And they all carry knives.
And they're all like other assassins fuck up because they care about their worthless lives. We don't care about our lives.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these people don't care about their lives. Okay. And then later on, like when he sends like the 4 women out, and they all come up with him to make out with him, like, oh, Bobby Wong. And I'm like, now I care about my life. I'd be a shitty assassin.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you fucking stay. You son of a bitches, you'll get yourselves killed.
If you'll excuse me, I have 4 women to go make out with in the back room. So yeah, like they try to kill him multiple times, like on a motorcycle with like a chainsaw and a fucking knife.
I'll say this too. There's way too much air pressure in the tires in that place. Because anytime you take a tire out, like something just goes flying.
Oh my god.
They're all filled at like 170 PSI.
As soon as the tire buzz, like boom, goes
Yes.
flipping off a bridge or something.
Explosion.
And that brings me to this next point. Sleepy is the best wingman in the entire world. Because Eddie, after he gets all fucked up and they get out of there and they're safe, he's in the hospital. And he goes over to what's-her-name and he's like, now come on, Toots. Eddie's dying. Now if you want him to live? Yes. Well, let me tell you how. I need you to marry him. Because if you marry him, he'll find the spark that he needs to live. You don't want him to die, do you? No. All right, then you're going to go marry him. And she fucking marries a man in a full body cast under an oxygen tent and puts a ring on his finger, and he's just sitting there like...
And then he gets better.
So, like, single tears fall out of his face, and everybody cries. I got a little misty-eyed. I'm not going to lie. It was very emotional. And I got a little misty-eyed, and it was good. And then the most amazing thing happened. Every single one of the teeth that got knocked out of Eddie's mouth fucking grew back.
Yes!
He must be a lizard or something. Or that fucking precinct has the best dental insurance of any precinct I have ever seen in my life. Because you see, like, 5 or 6 punches where his teeth fly out.
Yes.
I counted them. There was at least 8 teeth that flew out. And then he's smiling after he gets married. It's like, well, I'll be goddamned. He's a reptile. His teeth are back. Either that or that woman is just the best wife ever, and her marriage grew his teeth back for him.
Yes.
So that's the end of episode 2, right?
I don't remember. I think
I don't
so.
know. That sounds like it was more than episode 2, wasn't it?
No, that's the end of episode 2. Episode 3 starts out with them being married, but Eddie having refused to marry her
he
until
does that
the
at
time
the
is
end.
right. At the time, the time
He
is
does
right.
the end of 2.
At the end of 2, that's right. So everything starts over again.
The last one was the crazy freaking robot suit ninja thing.
Yeah, so it shows up and it's just killing cops. So me, Evan Jones, I'm thinking, man, Ice-T would fucking love this because it's Cop Killer in anime form.
I also want to say that there are far too many stupid people in these things because, like, after a little while, it becomes clear that this thing is bulletproof, and people still stand still and shoot at it.
Yep.
They're like, oh yeah, it's coming at me. I know it can slice through, like, metal doors and stuff like that, but I'm just going to empty my revolver into it because that'll obviously solve the problem.
But you know what? I'm okay with those people because while those idiots stand there and shoot at it, that means I'm running away, and I'm okay
Yep.
with that.
And this motherfucker looks exactly like the Guyver. It looks
Yes.
like they're just like,
Guyver.
hey, you know what? I want to be a Guyver and kill every cop in the city. That's exactly what happened. So, it's just slaying motherfuckers. Well, it comes up to Sleep and it's like, oh, hello, Sleepy. So, it holds like this cool-ass double Wolverine blade to Sleepy's face, and then it's just like, shink! And then the blade comes back and it runs off, and it's like, motherfucker, what the hell? So, you come to find out that the only... how did they do the reveal? What was the reveal?
Well, they thought it was, I guess, his old partner.
Kevin.
Yes, named Kevin, who Sleepy turned in for being corrupt, come to think of it.
Yeah. Because he was like
Irony.
taking drugs.
He had like some kind of like gut cancer or something like that.
Stomach cancer.
And so he was taking drugs and taking money. And he's taking
Drugs
drugs.
and stealing are bad. Prostitution is cool, though, right?
Yeah!
But it's so funny because it's like, that's like the least evil thing you could do. It's like, if you just steal money to take drugs because you're a piece of shit, that's one thing. If you steal money to take drugs to heal your fucking stomach cancer...
Or just not to be in awful pain all the time.
Wait a minute, fuck that. I forgot all of Eddie's teeth came back. So obviously they had medical insurance. This guy's just a dickbag. You know that stomach
Well, you
cancer
have
would
to
have
get,
been
well,
covered.
there's a clause that you have to get a manly woman to marry you, and he wasn't willing to do it.
Fair enough. I'm cool with that. You know, speaking of manly women, you know who I was surprised not to see, speaking of blondes? Oh, what's her name from Violence Jack? Fucking
Oh, God.
old dick lady from Violence Jack. Had the same haircut and the same hair. And it's like,
It was like they're like, we need a tranny for this. Fuck, I got that cell from Violence Jack. Just don't draw the fucking clown makeup on her face.
and no dick in the pants.
Put some clothes on her so it's not just like a bulging out bikini bottom and a jacket.
Oh my god. So anyway, back to the story. So this fucking thing's going crazy, and Sleepy's like, no, this is my buddy Kevin, so I gotta go talk to him. So he goes and he finds out, and as he's going to find out, he ends up at this bar, I think is how it happens. And he sees Kevin's little sister. And he comes to...
No, he finds out that it's her before because he gets in this, like, power loader from Aliens is what he's fighting in when he's fighting against her.
Oh, yeah!
You forgot about it when they meet at the stadium and they fight it out and, like, he manages to pull the helmet off and it's her.
That's right. Which brings me to another thing. I'm seriously considering cosplaying as Sleepy for Anime Week in Atlanta this year. I just need to get like one hockey leg pad and a fucking arm pad and a cop suit and the goalie mask.
If you do it, you need to do that the day of Manime.
Exactly.
Like, only those people will get it. Everybody else will think you're fucking Axe Cop or something.
Man, I was thinking, doesn't Axe Cop look just like Sleepy?
He does, except for he wears a cop uniform with a mustache, glasses, and he carries an axe.
But Sleepy had an axe in the first episode, remember?
Yeah, because I remember, I think it was at Dragon Con last year that I kept thinking, why the hell is everybody dressed like fucking Sleepy from Bad Boy? There are a lot of people in there. Like, no, that's Axe Cop, and I was like, who the fuck
is Axe Cop?
Yeah. Man, we better tell Sleepy he's got to fucking get some fucking royalties.
He fucking murder Axe Cop.
Dude. So,
with
the
all of
big...
his testicle grenades.
Oh, my God. That hurts just thinking about it. So, the big reveal happens, and I don't remember if he knew that she worked at that place, or if he just happened to be there.
I don't remember how they got in the same place, but it, of course, ends with them having sex.
Yeah, so they go to the bar, and... she's just like, I want somebody to hold me like my brother held me. So Sleepy's like, okay, I'll give you a hug. And then she's like, haha, put me on shoulders. And then she's like, ha, let's go have sex. And it's like, what kind of relationship did you have with your brother?
And then she's attacked. She's like, haha, I'm a crazy bitch.
Yes.
It just handcuffs him.
So then she's just like, you know what? I'm not going to stop killing people because fuck them. And he's like, God damn it. So then, like... something happens, and they end up coming back out, and he's like, oh, I gotta go take care of her. So everybody's like, let's kill this bitch. She took out Jimmy. And he's like, no, that's a sad little girl who needs emotional nurturing. And you're just like, what the fuck?
So they get pretend married as well at the end.
So it comes to another marriage. And it's like, I get it. So when the shit hits the fan and everything is really serious, you need to get married.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in the future, like, let's say that you happen to be a Colombian drug dealer, okay? And you've been successful for like 10 years. All of a sudden, you find out there's been a narc there on site for like the last 5, and the cops have arrived. So what do? You grab the fucking maid and you marry her. And then everybody's like, oh my God, it's so sweet. And then you get away scotch-free, according to the rules of the 34th precinct.
Rule 34?
Changing one problem for another.
It could be, yeah.
But what happens is they're going to commit suicide with each other at the end, except she doesn't choose.
Yep. And that made me a little misty-eyed too. But that's besides the point. And so he's just like, no! And he carries her corpse out there.
He just walks away.
And then they come up to her. He's like, don't touch her! He gets all mad.
It was a crazy ass show.
Yeah, that show was so off the chain that it was recommended at Manime, the last AWA, and I remember watching it not so long after that, and then finally got you two guys to watch it. It is completely off the damn chain.
We specifically left out all of the fucking crazy firefights and just nutty ways of death that are in that, so you'll have to go watch them. We just touched on some bullet points, pun intended. But there are so many more bullet points through the skull, through the hand, fingers falling off, that you need to watch it yourself.
So, I had a thought, though. This is something that goes back to something in the beginning. So, Sleepy said he thought something might go wrong, so he wore his grenade jockstrap. It makes you wonder, how many other times is he wearing that if something doesn't go wrong, so he doesn't need it, and he's just got a bunch of grenades strapped to his junk.
Maybe that's like part of his shit's about to hit the fan get up. Like, you open the closet, there's a Kevlar vest, some boots, and fucking 50 grenades ready to be tied to his fucking pubes.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Why wouldn't he just get a belt? Because he's too manly. That's what it is. God, that was a great fucking show, man. Both of those are great shows. Yes. Mad Bull 34 and Yuratsukadoji.
Legend of the Overfiend.
Legend of the Overfiend.
So if you want like a good feeling for like old school crazy ass anime they would bring over here back in the day, you should check those two out. Like, I know Mad Bull just got a re-release. So Mad Bull 34 just got a re-release that you can get like on DVD now. So you can find it. And it's not too expensive because it's only like 4 episodes.
And please get the dub. Make sure you get the dub because it's fucking priceless.
Yeah, I agree. Like the dub makes that better because it's not that great.
Oh, I forgot. The fucking chief of police. Was he Italian? Was he Spanish? Was he Chinese?
I thought he was Chinese at first, and then he's Italian, and then I don't know.
He's like, Mad Bull, what are you doing? You need to come back to the office. And then later on, he was like, Mad Bull, why are you doing this? And it's like, he's Italian. And then he's like, Mad Bull, oh, sleepy, you need to get back to your office. And it's like, does he have multiple personality disorder? Is he a voice actor in his free time?
That's one of those things they need to talk about at like Anime Hell where they discuss like bad dubbings and stuff. That's up there. Where like this guy, either they got 4 different actors to do him in each of the episodes, or the guy could never remember what the fuck voice he was doing.
I'm pretty sure they just all got drunk and they were like, Jimmy, just go have some fun with this fucking chief of police, man. He's like, all right, hold on, I'm gonna do fucking Chinese first. Check this out. Sleepy, what you doing? And everybody's fucking laughing in the control room. And he messes it up, and there's probably some great bloopers somewhere.
There could be.
Oh, man. But yeah, anything from the old Manga Vision days is pretty much guaranteed to be badass. It was before everything had to be a cute little pet, or fucking, there had to be something like...
A 400 long fight anime.
Yeah. A good fight is like 7 punches and a knockout. It's not charging up your fucking laser for 3 episodes and then blowing up a planet. That's overkill. Yep. All you gotta do is drop the elbow like the madness Macho Man Randy Savage. Bionic elbow of Dusty Rhodes. Either of those are guaranteed to win you a fight.
There are still some good ones that come out that are over the top. Like High School of the Dead.
Well, that's just because the titties shake all over the place.
No, that thing is off the chain.
Yeah, there are some good ones that are still off the chain, but I don't think to the level they used to be. I think, and a lot of like people in the anime industry over there will even say this, that like people have found what sells well and they just do it, and there are a lot of them are afraid to make risks.
So I've seen this anime before. The character names are just different.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the high school cutesy ones are like that. It's like, these are all the same. They're just different names. So,
you know what? Maybe we should end with like one newer anime that we recommend. It's kind of in the vein of the older ones.
I'm going to say High School of the Dead then.
High School of the Dead's yours? What about you, Kyle?
I think Future Diaries is pretty...
Oh, goodness. That's true.
I'm going to say Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple.
It's not nearly as
I thought we were going for
ass
whooping
stuff, but it's good.
I'm talking about good fights. Because
good
this shit's...
fights?
Oh yeah.
I mean, just for me. Something that Manga Vision probably would have picked up on back in the day.
Yeah.
I
agree with that. They probably would have snagged that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, there's 3 for you to watch. High School of the Dead, Kenichi the... Mightiest Disciple, and then...
Future
Diary. And the thing is that those are all of varying length. Like, High School of the Dead, I think, is only 1 season, and then Future Diary is 2, and then Kenichi is like 3 or 4.
25 episodes, I think.
Oh, there's more than that. There's 50-something episodes.
52 episodes.
Yep.
I was slick Stexy.
And there's some OVAs.
That's right. I saw the first 2, and they're great.
So,
I think there's 6 of them now, I think.
Man, I gotta catch up.
So, yeah, you can check all those out. Those are kind of more modern ones that will give you a feel for what the old craziness used to be like. But you should still check some of those old ones out. Legend of the Overfiend, Mad Bull 34, Geno Cyber, Wicked City, Demon City Shinjuku, all those crazy ones like that.
Vampire Hunter D.
Yep. And when I say that, like, I like both the Vampire Hunter Ds, but not the new one. Bloodlust is good, but you need to watch the original one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's still great, even though it's like kind of uber cheesy at times.
Yep. But we do like some of the softer ones, though. It doesn't all have to be blood and guts and sex.
Yeah,
we like Ron the Half. Ron the Half is great.
Yeah.
That's an old one. It's got some funny shit in it. There's no fucking sex or... I don't think there's any sex. There's lots of panty stealing and stuff like that. Haposai, my man.
One hole, one hole.
One hoe?
What a hole.
That's what he would say. He would tie panties under his nose, and then he would steal panties, and then he would run away with them.
Oh my god.
Never really got that. What's the deal? Why don't you just go after what's in the panties instead of the panties?
Who knows?
Japan.
Japanties.
Japan.
Fucking Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
Japan.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. So if you want to send us some stuff to talk about, or if you want to ask us any questions, you want to make comments about some anime you think is awesome, you can send it to offenderspodcast@gmail.com. So until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm sleepy.
And I am a real American.
Well, we're going to fight for what's right.
For every man.